Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. So for this week, we are going to jump a little bit ahead from where we left last time, which is the ending of the battle at Red Cliff, and now move on to the death of one of the most important character of the whole story, Lord Guan or Guan Yu. And in today's video, I'm going to first do a summary for all the plots we have skipped to see what actually happened from chapter 50 to chapter 75, which we will get started this week. And then pointed out some points you need to pay attention to when reading the novel and also watch the 2 TV episodes. Okay, so the theme for this week is the death of Lord Guan. And eventually we'll see some deaths coming, and especially to the very important characters like Lord Guan and also Cao Cao. All these characters we are familiar with until this point of the semester, and now they are kind of fading away. And especially for next week, we are moving on to a new stages to witness how a new generation emerged and have their own story. So first, let's take a look at what actually happened between chapter 50 and chapter 75. So we'll start with chapter 75, and the battle at Red Cliff ended at chapter 50. And in the following pages, I will introduce what happened to different teams as we have been doing at the very beginning of every lecture. So first, let's take a look at our protagonist, which is the Shu team. So the leader is Xuan De or Liu Bei, and his most important advisor, Zhuge Liang or Kong Ming, and also Lord Guan and Zhao Zilong and Zhang Fei, all of them. So one thing you need to pay attention to is that actually after the battle at Red Cliff, so after chapter 50, all stories are centered on our protagonist. So the Shu team is undoubtedly the main character and the mainstream. The story in Wu Kingdom and the story about Cao Cao is just the secondary stories. So first, basically, Xuan De now owns a very critical place called Jingzhou. I will show you a map where Jingzhou is, and you can notice why it has a very critical geographical location. And Jingzhou is now guarded by Guan Yu or Lord Guan. And according to Zhuge Liang, to have Lord Guan guard Jingzhou is to defend Cao Cao from the north and also defend Sun Quan from the east. So if the Shu kingdom can have Jingzhou, then they have the advantage to defend the two powers. And then Xuan De again gets Xichuan, that's to the west of the map, and he moved on to Yizhou, further west. So just as what Zhuge Liang has planned for Xuan De, the Shu kingdom has a tendency to move west. And then Xuan De defended Cao Cao and gets Hanzhong. That's a very critical place and basically the base or the home of the Shu kingdom, where they grow their own power, have acquire more territory, and grow their military power. And finally, in city Fan, so this city is very important too, because later you'll see Guan Yu has a lot of story happen in this city. So in city Fan, Guan Yu is shot in his arm by Cao Cao's army. And our story, chapter 75, started with there. So started with Guan Yu try to conquering city Fan and fighting against Cao Cao's army, also get wounded. So our story again started there. So here is the map. And just as I pointed out last time, if you pay attention to the purple line, the northern part belongs to Cao Cao. The southern part belongs to Sun Quan, while now the west part is gradually getting to become the territory of Xuan De. And here is the critical part the critical location for the Jingzhou. So as I said, you can see Jingzhou basically is at the place where the three kingdoms come across each other. So this place is very critical. Every kingdom wants to get it. And if they can get Jingzhou, then they can conquer a big part of the territory of another kingdom. So everybody wants to get Jingzhou. Jingzhou used to belong to Sun Quan, and he landed to Xuande when he doesn't have any power. But later, even when Xuande moved to the west, Zhuge Liang recommended Xuande not to give up on Jingzhou and not to return Jingzhou to Sun Quan. That kind of became the starting point where Sun Quan and Liu Bei has a lot of conflicts. They disagree with each other. So that's the starting point and the cause of everything. So Jingzhou is very important. And basically from Jingzhou move to the south, where the arrow pointed out is Hanzhong. That is the base, as I said, the base of where Xuande now locate his own power and his military power, his territory. So he himself, Xuande himself, with Zhuge Liang, moved to the south and only left Guan Yu to guard this critical location called Jingzhou. And this part is called Xiangyang, or City Fan is around that location. So you'll see basically Guan Yu is fighting Jingzhou to Fancheng, so very close. And the ending of, if you read the novel already, you'll see the ending of Guan Yu is that he gave up or temporarily leave Jingzhou to fight against Fancheng, but eventually died there. So that is what our story is going to happen, the two red circles. And yeah, that is a place where Guan Yu got shot in his arms. And then let's move on to Cao Cao's team. In all the chapters we skipped, basically Cao Cao fight against another character named Ma Chao, who is actually the leader of the fierce Xiliang army from the west. So Cao Cao fight against other enemies besides Xuande and Sun Quan as well. And also Cao Cao sort of killed the empress and let his own daughter be the new empress. But one thing to keep in mind is that Cao Cao never actually killed the emperor. So he himself never become the emperor. And he always kept that puppet emperor there and try to command all the lords under the heaven in the name of the emperor. So the emperor is still there, but Cao Cao goes further to kill the empress. And what about Sun Quan? So Sun Quan's team, what happened is that first, very importantly, Zhuge Liang used strategies to anger Zhou Yu 3 times and leading to Zhou Yu's final death. So basically, Zhuge Liang and Zhou Yu turned into enemy against each other. And Zhou Yu tried to kill Zhuge Liang, and Zhuge Liang escaped smartly every time. But the second time when Zhuge Liang angers Zhou Yu is very important because that is when Zhou Yu tried to trap Xuande in the Wu Kingdom by marrying Sun Shangxiang to Xuande. If you still remember, Sun Shangxiang is the sister of Sun Quan. But Zhuge Liang kind of recognized this as a trap and successfully took Xuande and Sun Shangxiang back to Jingzhou, back to their own territory. So Zhou Yu basically got no good out of the whole scheme and became very angry and got a disease and died. Also, they tried to get back Jingzhou but failed. So the Sun Quan's team, the Wu Kingdom, as I said, they lent Jingzhou to the Shu team, but they tried to get them back several times, but all failed. And they get more and more upset as well in the process. And they also tried to set up a trap to kill Guan Yu, but failed. So basically, Wu Ting'an didn't make any good progress until the chapter we are going to read for now. In the chapter we skipped, they tried to do a lot of things, but all failed. Now let's turn to things worth attention in chapter 75 to 78, which I assigned for this week. So first, we encounter one very important character named Hua Tuo. Is a very famous doctor at that time. I think Hua Tuo also appeared a little bit in the Redcliffe 2, that movie. So he basically does two things. The first thing is he scrapes the poison from Lord Guan's bone. That whole scene is depicted pretty bloody and a little bit scary, but also kind of, you can decide it for yourself how you're going to understand that specific scene. But basically is that Guan Yu got a shot on his arm, and Hua Tuo came and said, I can help you get that poison out of your arm, but I need to use my tool to scrape from your bones. It will be very painful, but Guan Yu keep calm the whole time. And Hua Tuo successfully healed his wound. And later, when Cao Cao get such a great headache, Hua Tuo came again and said, I can heal your disease, but I need to cut your head open. Cao Cao was thinking like Hua Tuo is going to kill him. He doesn't believe in Hua Tuo, so he have Hua Tuo killed. So the two things happened, I think, basically back to back in these two chapters, and mainly kind of portrayed a mythical or a very genius doctor get different treatment from Guan Yu and Cao Cao. And also one other very important character we are going to meet is Sima Yi, who is actually a advisor standing by Cao Cao. Sima Yi also appeared in the TV show as well. He is the one who has a long beard and looks very old. And he is the one who provides the strategy that asks Cao Cao not to defend Fanchen by himself, but to use a discord between Liu Bei and Sun Quan, between the Shu team and the Wu team, to kill Guan Yu. So basically he was saying, we kind of waiting, just hold back a little bit and let Sun Quan, let Wu team to kill Guan Yu for us. And he is advisor of Cao Cao, as I said. And later, Sima Yi will become or slowly take Cao Cao over. So just give you a spoiler. So the Sima family, not Sima Yi himself, but his son and his grandson, eventually will found the Jin dynasty to unite the three kingdoms. So not Cao Cao, not Sun Quan, not Liu Bei, or not even their descendants, but Sima Yi eventually unite the three kingdoms. And also one more thing to pay attention to is the death of Guan Yu. That's the main theme of this week, as I said. So basically, a very kind of critical factor lead to Guan Yu's death is that in chapter 73, I didn't assign, but Sun Quan want to marry his daughter to Guan Yu to make the alliance between the Shu team and the Wu team more strong. But Guan Yu refuses and says, my tiger lass married off to a mongrel. So he was saying like, your son cannot compare, is not a good fit for my own daughter because my daughter is much better than your son. And that led to Sun Quan being pretty angry about Guan Yu and always have a feeling of they need to earn the respect back. And so Lu Meng is the general of Sun Quan, and Lu Xun, the new character, is advisor of Sun Quan. These two guys made up a trap and discussed how to defeat Guan Yu by saying, Lord Guan counts too much on his heroic valor, and we need to do such and such to feed his arrogance. So basically, the conclusion of their discussion is that they need to use Guan Yu's arrogance against himself and lead to his failure and death. You can read for yourself how the whole thing is going, but I think it can kind of triggers our thinking about what actually defines a hero. And is Guan Yu the ideal image of hero as we thought, or did Guan Yu has any other kind of aspects as well? Lastly is Guan Yu's wandering spirit, which actually is a supernatural element. I think, very unfortunately get deleted by the TV show, but still vividly kept in the novel. So please don't forget to read the novel and to find out how Guan Yu, even after his death, he can still lay influence on all these characters. So basically, Lu Meng is a general of the Wu Kingdom, is a general of Sun Quan. Lu Meng killed Guan Yu, but Guan Yu did a immediate revenge on Lu Meng. So I think on the banquet when Lu Meng was celebrating the victory, Guan Yu's spirit just captured Lu Meng and made he himself get suddenly became crazy and get a very bad disease and finally died. So that kind of revenge is very immediate and quick. And later it became the matter of how to transport or how to treat Guan Yu's body, especially his head. So Sun Quan got Guan Yu's head, but someone told him it's not a good thing because if Liu Bei knows his brother is killed by you, he will launch a revenge to our Wu Kingdom. So why not you send Guan Yu's head to Cao Cao and lead the revenge or lead the Liu Bei's anger to Cao Cao. So Sun Quan listened to that advice and sent Guan Yu's head to Cao Cao. And Cao Cao got that thing again, was very afraid of the revenge of Liu Bei. So Cao Cao made a wooden body to pair with Guan Yu's head and basically just made Guan Yu a statue or a godlike kind of worshipping worthy statue. But Guan Yu, and later Guan Yu reappeared in Xuande's dream, so reappeared in Liu Bei's dream and asking for revenge. So said, brother, I died like this, so please revenge for me. And a little bit later, he also took a revenge on Cao Cao, not directly, because that is when Cao Cao saw the head of Guan Yu, and even after making the statue of Guan Yu, Cao Cao still feel a very strong headache, as I said, and feel something's going wrong with his own body, and he become to have a lot of dreams about all the people he killed in his life, and eventually became crazy and died. So I think Guan Yu sort of indirectly lead to Cao Cao's death as well. And as I show the picture here, because Guan Yu had such a mystical power even after his death, and his spirit is considered so powerful and not in peace. So basically, the Guan Yu as a character is turning from a warrior to a god of war, and later to a god of fortune as well. So even in contemporary time in China, people still worshiping Guan Yu as the god of fortune, the god of war, or just the god of protection. And we will discuss the cult of Guan Yu a little bit more in our discussion as well. But thinking about this question is very interesting. Like, what kind of character can occupy this ability or can acquire this ability to become a god? And what kind of traits or what kind of characteristics makes this kind of character a god? Or what kind of god it is? Or what? So I think that's basically it, and I really hope you enjoyed this week's reading and also the TV show. Don't forget your comments down below, and I will see you on Thursday. Okay, bye!